widely. That's what I'm going for. Oh, music. That's what we're missing. There we go. Oh my god. So many buttons. In the top left, as the blue Protoss, we have MCanning. In the bottom right, as the red Protoss, it is Creature. So nice. NA PvP with MCan man himself. So we might just be seeing some disruptors, making it a different PvP and a very fun PvP. Okay, so PvP starts off rather like we are used to seeing when it comes to MCanning, but he does eventually get the disruptors. Now, I get to cast a lot of his games given to me by the one and only Diesel, who is in chat right now, which is fantastic. You know, it's fun, but it is a lot of those games where it's very scrappy, and he's kind of forced into hoping that the disruptor brings him back into the game. But as far as I understand it, he's still generally a disruptor user, which is great, which is something that Creature should know, not just in general, but also because they're probably facing each other a fair bit on ladder. MCanning's really quite damn good at the game. As I said, he got close to winning the ladder qualifier. Didn't actually end up making it through, and that's very unfortunate, but can certainly make it through one of these qualifiers if he really takes it seriously. And I think he's not streaming, so that's about as serious as we'll ever get, right? So, Stalker Sentry Opener for MCanning. Creature is going to be able to see this with the Pylon, and then he can cancel it. MCanning is going to see the 2 Adepts pop and lose the probe for it. Okay, yeah. Kind of difficult to see the Adepts and not lose the probe, because the probe is 2 shot by an Adept, and there's 2 Adepts popping out. That's how math works. But I guess it is technically possible. I think it's worth losing the probe to see what exactly pops out of there. Would it have been better if you put the Pylon down? I suppose so, but you actually have to put it like down over here, I guess. So the Adepts are going to be countered just by leaving a probe here. The Stalker goes forward to see exactly when the Adepts come forward, maybe get a couple pod shots off them as well. One Stalker's not going to really do a lot of damage to Adepts before they shade away or shade in or whatever they do, but you get 2 Stalkers pop out, then suddenly you are doing some hull damage to the Adepts and taking away that potential probe damage from just 2 measly little Adepts. So the recall is going to happen and save one of them, but this one is unfortunately, oh my god, it actually lives, but it's so damn low. It's really worth saving. I don't know. I guess so. Why not? Okay. That one lived, but just barely. Robo for both parties. I was thinking, you know, in my mind, in my brain, in my thought space, that maybe Creature would go into a Stargate to give him the option of going into Phoenix later on against, like, you know, trying the idea of hard countering MCanning. But I really wonder how often MCanning tries to avoid going Disruptors very soon, or even in general, because he figures there's going to be a lot of people who work against him on that. But he wants to keep the best of 3 fresh. Hashtag fresh. You know, wants to keep it as something that his opponents just can't simply guess what he's doing. So that's what I'm currently looking forward to, is does he do everything kind of the same, the standard opener, the safe opener, into Disruptors, or there's some change-ups. By the way, big shout out to Chivo. Picked this guy up recently as the streamer, but also, I mean, he's, as I said, he's pretty damn good. He could certainly be pro, at least in the round of 32 of Challenger, which is exactly what he's here to try and get. If you win this qualifier, you do get seated in there. Good block on even more Adept harassment. Creature does have a proxy pylon to the top side, and his probe's even still hanging around, but I think that's actually just to go ahead and warp in more depth should he see the possible opening, which is totally fair. I love how everyone is like drawing back into their 13-year-old selves and is talking about what character they want to be as part of a book series. I'd be Hermione. No, I'd definitely be Egwene. Are you kidding me? Egwene is such a flipping badass. I can't believe you guys are fighting over the 3 main characters. They are so lame. You guys don't even know. Oh, disappointment. Anyways. Well, if I had to choose one of the 3, I think I would choose Matt, to be honest. Okay, so these 2 adepts do get 3 probes. I'm not sure that's really worth the 2 adepts in there. Scouting was going to be figured out, I think, other ways, so I'm not even sure if the scout is that important to note. I don't know. But it's also not nothing, so it's maybe okay. It does put creature now at a 4-worker lead. So MCanning's now a little less than ideally saturated, and creature's a little more. To be like really specific, but not a big deal. +1 is far faster for MCanning. Similar time on the Templar Archives, as well as charge. MCanning has not gone into the robotic space, so no disruptors from him. There you go. Might be a stereotype, but he's not sticking to it every time we see him. Okay, so a lot of gateways coming down for both parties. They both want to get to that +2. This is where the real meat and potatoes of the PvP is going to go into, because we didn't have any earlier engagements, right? We didn't have an Adept all-in or something like that. Oh, nice trades. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Save the immortal, save the world. Oh, creature tries to go for it and loses his own immortal. Gotcha. Snapback. That's what the kids say, right? I don't know. All right, that was not worth the immortal loss there for creature. Really, really sucks. So close to getting it too. But yeah, because that's where we're going to get to, because nothing else has happened in the early game. We're going to get to Immortal, Archon, Charge Lot, +2 attack is going to be usually when the Protoss decides to move out. Also, usually around a 3rd base. Although I've seen definitely some 2 base attacks, just, yeah, with that +2. That may be what MCanning's setting up for. With the 400 minerals in your army pocket. Maybe you don't have to go for that 3rd nexus, and creature is going to be maybe bound to defend it, thinking that he has to, but he's gonna see the nexus not quite taken yet, and a cancel at this point wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. So we'll see what his decision is. Armor supply is in favor of MCanning. Upgrade will eventually be in favor of MCanning, but he is in fact going for that 3rd nexus. Creature has 7 more workers that, again, aren't ideally mining quite yet. They're in fact long distance mining, but it's a lot more about that +2 finishing up here very soon for MCanning. He also has a lot of adepts. Wait, did I just see more adepts warped in? I don't want to say a lot. I shouldn't have said a lot of adepts, but he's warping in adepts, which I found kind of weird. So I guess his plan is to shade those in, hope to distract a big portion of the army, and then the rest of it might still be able to conquer creatures, because it has +2 in now. And it is a bigger army supply, so actually the adepts don't even shade through. They are just on the front lines of the army. Some probes are going down, that's long distance mining ones, but what about that army? As it's being decided here and now, and I think it is being decided in MCanning's favor. Win the army war, the probes will follow, and that is what's happening here. Also what follows, the GG. Creature not willing to give up quite yet, but he's definitely dead. Definitely dead. GG. You go back through that game and you wonder what could have gone differently, but maybe a creature shouldn't have done as many adept harassment. What's the word? As much adept harassment. I couldn't think of the word. As much adept harassment, right? Didn't really get a whole lot. Maybe he built too many probes. Actually, that's like a legitimate criticism when you get to this point. Like 7 extra probes. 8 more than you technically need. Because 44 is perfect saturation, right? That's usually what you see the Protoss stop out in 2 base. How many minerals is that? That's a lot of minerals, right? And then that +2, this is not the first time today that we've seen a +2 significantly behind the other one. But we did see in a lot of those other PvPs in Europe where the +2 was eventually caught up on, defense advantage, having a good position, kind of scared away the person who had the faster +2. Creature was kind of already spiraling downward, where it felt like MCanning was actually just going on the up and up and up. Just had slightly better macro and the loss of the immortal, right? MCanning looks pretty PvP smooth. I think you guys are just making shit up. I gotta read these books. Pinnacle. Read Wheel of Time. It's great. You know, Avienda was cool, and then she just, like, oh my god, it was like watching Dragon Ball Z. Any cool woman that comes into play with these writers, they're like, nope, we're done, no fighting. Be a lame ass from here on out. I feel that's what happened to Avienda. Min, too. Min was like a cool tomboy, and then, like, immediately after being introduced to her and being like, oh, cool, I want to think for herself, and doesn't just, you know, follow the society's orders. Immediately after, when you go to her perspective, that's the word. I was gonna say vision because I'm so stuck into StarCraft, but if you go into her perspective, she's like, that boy Rand was really cute, and you're like, oh my god. Anyways, I can nerd out about Wheel of Time for a while, and I'll continue to, because after the introductions, there's not gonna be much else to talk about. In the bottom right, as the blue Protoss up 1, it is MCanning. In the top left, as the red Protoss, it is Creature. Misunderstand, you're all lame because you're choosing the wrong people, not because you're choosing in general. Change topic to best waifu. I might want to riff over to nerd chat. He started going off on animes I don't even know about, though. It'd just be the reverse. Lands in the character is a pillar of granite that broods. No disagreement from me. Expected openers, but Creature's probe is going not in a scouting path, but rather in a proxy pylon path. Now we'll see if he really uses it, or if this is just to give MCanning that momentary panic. Thinking that that means that lack of second pylon on the main base must mean that there is a... oh god, ow. Proxy Stargate, usually, right? Creature did get his third pylon pretty quick, though. So, I wonder, can MCanning actually read into that? If you're going to not use this pylon, though, and keep up appearances that this is the second one, why do this pylon? Legitimate questions, guys. Like, PvP is still a bit of a mystery to me. Well, anyways. So the pylon isn't used. Now, it can still be used for the Adept Warpins, which Creature was mindful of making a Adept pylon last game, too, just a little bit later. MCanning doesn't fall for any lack of second pylon because, for him, he actually might still think this is the second one, and the game goes on. Both go into Robo. Creature now backs up the initial Stalker production with double Sentry production. MCanning already had a Sentry, so he will have that Hussein Phoenix right in flipping now. Cool, 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 cool. I tried reading the Gentleman Bastard series, and I did not really like that guy's writing. I was pretty sad about it. My origin story of, like, fantasy novels and what really got me into reading alongside playing video games, because I played RPGs, so they really helped me get better and better at reading. But it was also that my mom handed me a series called The Bulgariad, which for some reason I just took a really, like, a huge liking to. It's honestly not the best series. You go back and reread it when you're older and you're like, this writing's kind of subpar. These characters are kind of one-dimensional. But I really like it. It was actually like a dream for a little while to meet David Eddings, and then he died. So that dream is also dead. Why does everything happen to me? Anyways, Warp Prism produced for both players here. Both very similar openers, but you can see the slight differences. Just one less stalker for creature, one less sentry. But he is faster with the Twilight Council and the Forge. The depths have been warped in with that Warp Prism. MCanning has units to defend it, though, as long as the Adepts don't get, like, all the way to the main base. Which shouldn't be possible from here, but from here, yes, it would be possible. Hussein Phoenix sees nothing interesting, but there's that Warp Prism ready to do its own harassment, and that's exactly what MCanning's thinking of as he tries to deal with this. 5 probes do go down, and 3 Adepts picked up with the Warp Prism, too. Nicely done there from Creature, but how much damage is he going to take? 2 Adepts is all you need to one-shot probes. So it's still going to be a nasty bit of damage, actually. Creature not quite paying attention, actually just not choosing to pull his probes. Yeah, he was responding with the army, but I guess realizing a little bit late that he probably also should have pulled those probes away. Maybe that would have meant only 4 probe losses instead of what was also close to being 8. I don't know. His Adepts come back in for round number 2, but lose a life for not any more probes. So, okay. Still pretty even. +1 is faster for Creature, though, as is Charge. MCanning banking a little bit because, oh, he's actually not going to Twilight Council. I never started one. So, priority on that Robotics Bay. Back to what we expect from MCanning. I've finished reading this series now. Oh my god, guys, if you... Okay. Last comment, I swear, until we have downtime. But if you have tried reading Wheel of Time and you were like, yeah, it was okay, but like I just, you know, couldn't read all those books, I understand, alright? Now, if you read it and you're like, oh, I literally hate it, then don't bother. But if you're kind of on the fence, or it's really daunting, remember, there's like 3 books you can legitimately skip. And then also, when Brandon Sanderson comes in, it gets so good. Oh my god, the final book is actually flipping amazing. Brandon Sanderson is just... actually a god at a lot of things, but especially, like, writing climaxes and huge fights and epic tie-ups to story. Oh my god, just so good. Like, if you could just go ahead, like, I would seriously suggest people that, like, no, I don't want to read 13 books, 14 books, whatever it is. Okay, here's the thing. Just read the first 3, and then read the last 2, okay? And just fill in the gaps. You'll still find it really cool, in my opinion. Alright, anyways. Pylon for vision, maybe. Yeah, okay. It would see, maybe an Oracle fly by it? Alright, so, Disruptor and Blink. Creature going into... So far only 2 base, but he is planning on taking a 3rd there. Gonna be stopped by a single Adept. Going into Archons and that +2. The more normal PvP, right? Does he have any idea of what MCanning is doing? Doesn't look that way. Nope. So unless these Adepts see the Disruptors, which they could have already done, and I'm just not paying attention. MCanning is still keeping Creature in the dark. And I'm going to go ahead and assume that Creature is, in fact, in the dark. It'll change just a second. Oh no, will it? Alright. Because you do want some type of reaction to Disruptors. Either you push before they get a lot of it and hope that they don't get good shots, or you go into, like, your own Phoenix, or maybe you try and go into your own Disrupt. The point is, like, you would usually see something besides just continuing to macro in a normal Zealot Archon style. Now, that Hussein Phoenix was purposefully sniped by MCanning. He's being pretty on point about stopping Creature from scouting, which is fantastic. But you do see a lot of Stalkers, and I do wonder if that's also a bit of a tip. But I'm not sure how much you can read into the PvP that much, you know? He's really trying to get a scout, but he's not... he's not going at, like, an L from here to here, right? He's, like, keep on doing this, like, the little, like, the Tetris L in the wrong position. You need to go for this one. And he'll get Tetris, I swear. As then it'd at least see the Robotics Bay and probably the Disruptors easily. So Creature not getting any luck there is once again sending the Hussein Phoenix into the wrong path. And MCanning, by the way, it seems like the weirdest thing. Oh no, this one. Okay, phew, thank God. All right, so what is Creature's reaction, if anything? Exactly, Curlfishy. You know what you said. That's exactly what it is, though. All right, so there's a reaction. Double Stargate. That's the most realistic reaction at this point. You can't really overwhelm them. They have too many disruptors, and even then, it's like a real gamble. And then you don't go into your own disruptors because you were so far behind on that one. So going to Double Stargate, getting enough Phoenix to lift everything, that can be a very legitimate way to go. The DTs are another thing that Creature had to worry about that I'm not sure that he did see. He did not. So that's actually currently wrecking his harassment. Very easy defense there. Disruptors are coming forward for the main attack. Creature was hoping to catch MCanning a little off guard, and perhaps he caught a little like bit of a MCanning not paying attention, but it seems like there's still a lot of disruptors left over, and he's going to be very careful. But the Nexus does go down. 12 probes did go down. The recall. Socrates would have been able to chase a lot of his units down, so he'll lose 1 Archon as opposed to maybe 2 or 3 units. Not too shabby. Our disruptors, unfortunately, are going to die here. They do not kill each other, but it was just the Zealots already on top of them, so despite getting 1 shot off, it wasn't quite enough. Plus the Immortal Harassment, really not too bad there. Creature is able to get the kill. I mean, with MCanning having, what was it, like 8 disruptors on the front line, I didn't think that was going to be possible. I think he maybe lost 1. So 6 or 7. But no, he grabs it and gets out with a decent size of an army. Now he has a response to the disruptors as well with the double Phoenix. What count is he at right now? He's going to be at 4 as the attack comes in here. MCanning very seriously looking for the attack. DTs can also be added in as Archons if that's what he would ever want to do, but I don't think it ever is. He's going to look for distractions. In the same way that Creature caused a distraction, Canning maybe could have gotten better disruptor shots had not been distracted. That's what MCanning is going to try and do the Creature. Hope that he's not paying attention to his army, not ready to split, not ready to lift with those Phoenix. But is that going to happen? Grabs 1 Zealot, grabs nothing. Already 2 dodges there for Creature in his favor. And he's going to go for the attack, actually. He's got a bit of a concave, but those Phoenix numbers aren't quite comfortable because it's very likely that MCanning will snipe 1, if not 2 or 3, with the amount of Stalkers that he has. Quick check on the upgrades. Creature does have that +2 to absolutely nothing for MCanning, but when we're talking about disruptors, upgrades don't matter. They one-shot basically everything. And they don't get a kill shot count difference against like an Archon, for instance, which isn't one shot. Alright, that Warp Prism's dead. Nice grab with the Phoenix. They're also going to go ahead and dive on top of the Disruptors. Now, there's Archons, which MCanning actually did use. He made Disruptors from those DTs, I guess specifically to help out against the Phoenix. But was it enough? The Phoenix still cancel a lot of Disruptor shots, allow the Zealot to jump on top of them and kill them before the Disruptor shot actually gets the shot off. And this looks like Creature's game. Very nice response to MCanning's style of play, despite finding out very late into the game that it's actually what MCanning was doing. Really nice stuff here. Now, Creature does lose some probes to DT harassment. I think he tried making some defense against it, but there are, ways to get around that cannon, for instance, over there. But he wins the army fight. So 60 army supply to 25. MCanning is back up to 3 bases on an even worker count. They both never really got very high as there were so many conflicts during that point where they could have been probing a lot. And Disruptors are great at comebacks, right? I mean, the two best units of the game at like base trades and comebacks, probably the Disruptor and the DT. For Protoss, I'll say for now, but maybe just in general. I have definitely, this is the type of game I've watched a lot of from MCanning's ladder replays. He definitely has it in him to bring it back from here. If this was a stock standard Zealot, Immortal, Archon army against another one, I mean, MCanning's absolutely dead, but there's a chance he brings it back here. How much longer do you think I'll be streaming for? An hour and a half, 2 hours. Are they long books? Will time one? Oh, poor water. 666. Oh. Not only is there like 13 or 14 books, it's also like every book is 1,000 pages. Hardback. Alright, Creature is going to go for what he hopes is the killing blow. He's stocked back up on that Phoenix count, so he's going to have 7 or 8 to 7 or 8 or 9, actually, Disruptors. It's going to be close, but, this is still, like, even though a couple Phoenix could die to the Stalker Fire and the Archon, I mean, if they're canceling out 70% of the disruptor shots and only 3 hit. I mean, they better be godlike hits, right? So still very effective. And actually the Stalker's being caught. See, they're rocking a hard place. Blink finally available, but he lost about half of the Stalkers, actually a little bit more. So tearing down these Phoenix isn't happening. In fact, you can see them. He's so close to actually killing some of these Phoenix and getting his disruptors back on the ground, and he couldn't quite do it. But the disruptors on the ground are actually getting those amazing shots that I was talking about. And actually, a lot of the army still is on the top side. MCanning still losing his economy. He's actually holding against an army supply that was like double his. But is it really going to be enough? How many disruptor shots does he have left over? Once again, losing the Nexus, and this time 24 probes. He's got to take down every single army piece here, or he is just gone in this game, and it looks like he won't be able to do that. Another good disruptor shot on top of the charge lots, but what about the Phoenix? Takes care of the Stalkers, takes care of the Archon. The Phoenix are actually is all that's left. And I guess MCanning will hold again. Here's a shot on the charge. No, not really. Doesn't quite grab it. Creature maybe just over-investing. It's such a weird dynamic, right? Because when it's only disruptors, sometimes charge lots are enough, but there's a ton of disruptors still left over, and the Stalker count has risen again at least a little bit. Last minute split attempt, still loses 3 for 1 disruptor shot. Oh, it's okay, it's okay. But MCanning without a third base, I don't see much of a future here. Creature would have to throw another army away, even more dramatically, I would say, too, before MCanning could bring this game back. You know what book series I didn't really like for Brandon Sanderson? I didn't really like the Mistborn series. Just too bad. It's like his most popular one. Alright, Stalkers are going to find a Phoenix. That's always nice. And the Phoenix aren't really looking to grab Stalkers and trade with them. He could, maybe. Right? It's a decent number of Phoenix, but I think on the off chance that he loses one more because of that, it isn't quite worth it. Or on the off chance that MCanning attacks him and suddenly doesn't have energy, would be a disaster, right? Really nice find on the War Prism and that proxy pylon from literally the beginning of the game. Doesn't really influence the game much, but hey, take it away. Observer is trying to keep track of where the Phoenix are flying in to protect his disruptors, but he has missed the Phoenix. Well, his Stalkers are just literally so out of position. He's not going to lose disruptors here, but he is going to lose 8 probes in the blink of an eye. Creature not just looking to dominate an attack by having Phoenix against disruptors, but he's also looking to dominate the economy. Every time he swoops in to kill probes, he might lose 1 or 2 Phoenix, but he'll probably kill 8 probes every time, right? Just the Phoenix count has grown pretty high. Creature's also on his 4th base. MCanning was not just cut down from his 3rd base, he was cut down to 25 workers. It's really, he's like building 1 Stalker at a time, guys. He can't afford to replace his disruptors. And he can barely afford to make any more DTs for harassment. So this is going to be his last push. Now the Phoenix are out of position, but he would need to kill the entire army. Oh my god, is it going to happen? Okay, it was a decent first shot, but actually not what he needed. I'm thinking he needed to shoot every single disruptor ball at once to kill the entire army, and then maybe he has a chance here. As the Phoenix come back, they will be able to deal with the disruptors and maybe even the Stalkers. There's just not a lot of them. 1 disruptor shot almost got off, I think, but a lot of them are just simply not there because of the lifts. GG. Creature does take game number 2. Thank you, the Wave the Gun, for the 500 bits. What a perfect name for the bit gift that I have. GG. I used to be such a book fiend. Now I don't read books nearly as often. Which is sad. I'm so particular about them. Like, I don't want to read a book unless it's heavily suggested. And then, on top of that, if it takes like 100 pages to get into, I'm more likely to be like, whatever. Whereas, you know, when I was younger, it was like, this book wasn't very good, let me just finish it. I kind of wish I listened to more audio. Oh my god. I kind of wish that I listened to more audiobooks Not because I would have listened to more books if I'd done that. Probably not. But so that I would know how to pronounce these guys' names. I mean, who could have seen Egwene being pronounced as Egwene? I know. Rob Jordan put it in like a pronunciation guide, but whatever. Like, why would I ever guess that? All right, ace match coming in here. MCanning winning with the standard Protoss style quite convincingly, but then losing with the style he's most known for, the Disruptors. Alrighty. All tied up in the top left. As the blue Protoss, it is MCanning.
Twitch Prime sub received. Thank you for appeasing the Overmind.
Thank you, Mwada Ed, for the Twitch Prime sub. In the bottom right is the red Protoss. It is Storm's Creature. Which sounds pretty cool. In fact, it sounds a little bit epic. Other North American players in the bracket today. All right. What do we get in this PvP? So many styles to be done. We still haven't seen a lot of that early game aggression, which was seen quite a bit in the PvPs of Europe. By the way, guys, I'm going to share a little, like, embarrassing caster story for you. I shared with some friends already, but I feel like I need someone to, like, believe me that I'm not an idiot. But people for sure are gonna like look back at those VODs and be like, oh my god, Dom, I was so dumb. You didn't even see this. I've talked a little bit about how casting is, funnily enough, a lot about just simply paying attention. It's so easy to get caught up in X, Y, Z, especially if you're the producer and the observer and the caster, right? That it's those moments where you're like talking about what the Zerg is doing and not even talking about the fact the Protoss is about to hit them with like 7 sentries and 4 immortals. Those moments always make you feel stupid. And you're just like, okay, I just wasn't really evaluating all things in this game. I had this moment earlier today where I was taking a nap between EU and NA, as one does, and I woke up to like a voice in my head saying they counted pylons. And I was like, what the heck? But then I remembered there was this game earlier where literally the series before, okay, it was a PvP, and I was talking about how Protoss are doing like these kind of fake second pylons, like what I just talked about last game, where they'll like put a proxy pylon down but then not actually use it, and the other Protoss is like, oh my god, no second pylon, ah. I literally talked about that, and then I go into the next series of a PvP, and there's a game where Gung Fu gets proxy stargated, and I sat there wondering how Gung Fu knew he was proxy stargated, just completely blanking on the fact that the second pylon wasn't there. Just like the most like basic thing about PvP you're supposed to know, I just totally blanked. Now luckily no one called it out in chat on me, but I'm like admitting it to you now. But apparently my subconscious, my brain was still working through that. I seriously didn't consider that game after I was done casting it, guys. Seriously. But I guess subconsciously my brain was, because during my nap, a voice from above was like, you idiot, you're so dumb. Anyways, just gonna share that story. I feel like I need to share it so that when people are like, this chick's dumb, you guys can back me up here that I'm not actually super stupid. Anyways. How do I feel about Wheel of Time's polygamy? I'll talk about that maybe in some downtime. We do have some early pressure, just a little bit here. They both are going for Nexus, and they both are going for Robos, and they both have placed down proxy pylons. But the 4 soccer aggression versus 3 plus a sentry, only now flipping over into MCanning's favor as he warps in defensively, is a little important. You know, there is a chance that you get the early damage on the Nexus, and then you get the slight snowball effect. Suddenly they have to cancel a Nexus because it's so weak. You know, if that happens, it's happened before, and it might be happening here again. A lot of Soccers go down there. Nice focus fire by Creature, but the big savior that is the Immortal finally pops out. And against unupgraded stalkers with no immediate reinforcements, they do have to take that immortal very, very seriously. So no awkward snowball here, but it got awfully close. Okay, 2 adepts are seen by MCanning. No harassment there. Stalker's looking for perhaps this proxy pylon. Or maybe a warp prism, but I'm thinking more proxy pylon. 2 adepts of MCanning are going to try and slip in, and we do not have the block. Creature was not paying attention. He was paying attention to his own adepts, which are blocked once again. Also to his own stalkers, which do find a couple of adepts, but his probe line is going to be harassed here, so probably like 5 or 6 probes could go down. Actually, some really micro shots going down means that it was only 4. Oh no, hold on, those probes are natural. Okay, all right, good. Because there's... That's such an awkward statement by me, but you know what I meant. Like, he attacked individual probes with individual adepts, and then he attacked the gas geyser probe, so it could have been even more. At least the adept were too, so another awkward thing that happened. But 5 probes is not as bad as I feel like it really could have been, and the recall there was not too awkward either. Saved, I believe, all of the stalkers. I think he had lost 2 to the earlier fights. All right, so the game continues on. MCanning has a slight worker lead and a slight army disadvantage, but it's very, very slight. He's going into that forge faster, finds the proxy pylon of his opponents, although there is still a probe here to put another one down. And creature goes into a warp prism. No other tech right now. More adepts, because why not? Always testing your opponent's ability to watch the minimap, especially when they're trying to attack you. It should be very, very easy for creature or MCanning at this point when there's no other attacks going on, no other harassment going on, to block out the adepts from getting probe damage, but there's always that chance. And because Shade works the way that it does, it's almost never bad to try it. Oh, well, there you go. Unfortunately, there's not much to be done about this. If there's a shield battery, doesn't matter. If the warp prism tries to pick up the probe, it doesn't actually work really. It'd be very, very clutch projectile dodging, and more adepts are going to get damage. 7 probes, 8 probes. That was really nice, and that was with nothing else happening. So creature just not having a probe in position was the big fault there. He knew it was on the way. He had a probe going there to build that shield battery. It was just too far away. So that's why you keep on trying. And now MCanning has a substantial worker lead, has that much faster +1, as well as his own charge actually kind of timed up nicely, but more gateways already down, Templar Archives on the way. He will find that boost in army supply very soon because of this boosted economy. Moral of the story is naps are amazing. Yeah, that is the moral of the story. Especially when you take that nap that's only like 40 minutes long and you're just kind of like drifting in and out of consciousness. So you wake up refreshed, but not like you felt like you wasted the day. My favorite naps are when it's warm out and the windows are open and my cat's next to me. And finally we have the weather to do that. So everyone's proxy pylons have been cleaned up at this point. What a hero. What a hero. And MCanning's substantial upgrade lead is concerning. This is how... Well, one of the ways that he won the first game. But this is even a bigger difference. And, well, another way he won that first game was by having, at times, better probe kills. It was also somewhat due to creature over building probes, right? Which I don't think he's going to have that issue here. But it's still an issue that he lost probes to begin with. His third nexus is going to be a little bit later, and his attack doesn't actually feel like it's going to be that strong. And MCanning has finally reaped the rewards from having a superior economy for like a minute and a half, and his armor supply has really jumped up there. And he is going to potentially have +1 to nothing if creature actually tries to take this engagement. So I'm going to say creature doesn't do this. Ow, that's really nice. That's cool. Hallucinated Warp Prism to try and take away as many units as possible to the main base. But it is not going to actually warp anything in, and MCanning Okay, well, he's gonna bring back 2 Immortals. Oh no, Immortal and Archon, that's not bad at all. This is the real Warp Prism. And it was trying to go for that Nexus, not gonna find it. Creature does not push in with the army. That is definitely the better choice. And this Warp Prism, it did distract the army a little bit. It didn't distract it as much as maybe Creature was hoping for to get the snipe on the 3rd. That would have been really bad of MCanning to let that happen. Alright, Robotics Bay it is, again, from MCanning. Maybe knowing exactly what went wrong in that last game and determining that it won't happen again. This is, I believe, a later Robotics Bay, right? So, it might have been a surprise, yeah, more of a surprise. Actually, the Lucid Phoenix goes ahead and just scouts the Robotics Bay. They have had some return of the Colossus in this matchup, but so far I've only seen it in what was like kind of a 2-base all-in. I have not seen it as a 3-base compositional like enhancement. Charge at Archon is still kind of the way you want to go. So I'm gonna guess Disruptors. But the attack is already here. Creature is down an upgrade, but he has found the superior positioning, and MCanning a little late to responding is now going to be choked in. So a lot of his army isn't even fighting. Creature is gonna find that natural nexus, and it's going to be awfully dangerous. That could actually be sniped. MCanning stuck in a very, very difficult location. He's gonna warp in some of his units, or recall some of his units. Was that actually the right call? He didn't really recall that many units, but maybe that was just enough. I don't know. He also took away his sentry from that battle, so no, MCanning actually gonna lose this super, super hard. Letting Creature get into this position was the biggest mistake MCanning has made there. And this might just be it. He's lost his probes. He's gonna lose his first disruptor. Looks like a couple of charge lots. Oh, is it gonna actually get a shot? No, it does not. And Creature, yeah, I mean, he's not dominating the armor supply yet, but there it goes. MCanning dipping hard. Still relying on the disruptors to finally pop out and do some serious damage, but they're just not capable. They're not here quite yet, and that Nexus is going to fall. MCanning was in a totally fine position. Was he spending minerals and gas, transferring over in technology that wasn't ready yet? Yeah, sure. But he had an upgrade lead. He should have had his army in the better position, considering the Baron's advantage. And, that has really turned around on him. The Disruptor gets a pretty lame shot, all things considered. But MCanning is not giving up yet. There are some awkward attacks going down here as Creature lets a couple of his units kind of just go off to the side, while some of his units are attacking buildings. But he is still attacking into that economy, and at the end of the day, MCanning might have had a chance of the army fight. It would not have been enough to counterattack.